I like to say that the industry of college football, I call it professional college football now for a pretty good reason, is going to eat itself alive with greed. I'm right, but there's something even greedier than the superpowers in the business of college sports, and that would be trial lawyers. Because here they come, and they're going to eat the industry alive. This sports business, I guess we'll say the business for now, like the famous lines in North Dallas 40, you don't remember that. When I call it a business, you call it a game. When you call it a game, I call it a business. That's the problem this industry is having, and it's not going to last much longer. And if you're a fan of whatever program that's not the mega power, the 800-pound gorilla that's the University of Texas, you're in real trouble. Real trouble. I'm not sure you're going to be able to play much longer. But I want you to follow the legal and ethical twists of all of this. And before we even debate how it can survive or what you agree with and all these different now ethical and legal issues it's having, before we even debate that stuff, or those that aren't blue bloods, how they can survive, super rich blue bloods, the ethical question here is really weird. The legal question to this is just bizarre to me. So follow this. What was against the rules before is now not against the rules. And it used to be against the rules to pay players and give them gifts and stuff like that. Everybody knew that it was against the rules. Now you're going to say, well, wait a minute, Jeff, didn't this discussion just happen with Reggie Bush and his Heisman Trophy? Exactly. Except take that and put it on steroids. So the stuff that used to be against the rules, getting paid, your family getting paid, getting all that stuff, the perks, the cash, the drugs, whatever. And everybody knew it was against the rules. It used to be against the rules, but since it's not against the rules now, because there are virtually no rules now, the logic is extra twisted. Because it was against the rules to get paid before, but it's not against the rules now, the legal argument, and I'm not making this up, this is not a joke. The legal argument, and apparently a successful legal argument now, is everybody should get paid now because it's legal now, and you should get paid for what you should have received before, even though it was against the rules. And I'm not kidding. So I don't think he started this. And I think a lot of people are onto this, but you better look out what you wish for. So Reggie Bush won the Heisman Trophy back in 2000. I guess technically it would have been the trophy of 2005. He loses the Heisman Trophy after his family was getting paid by agents, they were getting a house and cars and stuff. And it used to be illegal. It used to be very much illegal. Everyone knew it was illegal. Everyone knew what the rules were. There were sketchy little things, but by and large, getting a house and cars was illegal. USC forfeited their wins in 2004, I believe it was, because getting cash and prizes was against the rules then. And everyone knew, including Reggie Bush. Now, according to ESPN, there's a lawsuit, and that I think, you can argue with me, but I think this lawsuit says, one, you can't really have a rule in place now because as to how college athletes can make money. No rules, no way, no stipulations, no guardrails, nothing. That's step number one from what I can tell from this legal case. And number two, former athletes, look out here, former athletes should get paid because it's legal now. In other words, the Reggie Bush thing with the Heisman Trophy, it's being applied in a class action lawsuit. You think that's not going to bankrupt your Texas Tech, your Baylor, down the list? Do you think that's not going to bankrupt you? This is just a remarkable twist. So, and by the way, I get wanting to make money. I probably might be the best person to tell you how guys used to get cash and stuff and knew it was illegal, and then now there are no rules. But I get wanting to make money. I get athletes saying, wait a minute, there's these skyboxes up there, they're wearing my shirt, all that stuff. I get it. But I do want to say this. You're not professionals. You're not defined as professionals. That's not the case at all. There is professionals, and you can do that where you're strictly making money. Are they not supposed to be college students representing the schools? And before you laugh and say, oh, that's not true anymore, what's going to matter here? It's going to matter legally here, I think. So here's what's reported today, and you can just think it through. One, the legal logic here, and two, what's going to happen to 99% of the programs not named University of Texas. ESPN reports college sports leaders in deep talks to settle NIL antitrust case. The NCAA and its power conferences are defendants in an antitrust case and class action lawsuit. It's House versus the NCAA, which argues that the association is breaking federal law by placing any restrictions on how athletes make money from selling their rights to their name, image, or likeness. The case is scheduled to go to court in January of 2025. If the plaintiffs win at trial, get ready, mid-sized schools, get ready for this. You ready? The case is scheduled to go to court in January 2025. If the plaintiffs win at trial, the NCAA and its schools will be liable to pay more than $4 billion in damages. That's because you should have paid the guys when there were rules you shouldn't get paid. $4 billion. Most of them don't make money as it is. Texas A&M athletic director. He's from a blue blood. This is a cash-happy school. This is athletic director Trev Alberts says, he tells the Bryan College Station Eagle, that schools could be adding $15 to $20 million to their budgets annually for what he termed a new expense category. That's settling a lawsuit. That's what that is. So whoever you are, just add $20 million, and most of them don't have it, by the way. The vast majority don't have that. That's what you're going to have to settle for. The House case is one of 4 antitrust lawsuits, all of which serve as a threat to some part of the NCAA's remaining caps on how athletes are paid. The case includes 2 separate classes of plaintiffs. Now, I know your eyes may glaze over with the legal argument here, but it's pretty fascinating, and it is going to wreck that industry. You do know no one's going to be left except a few. The damages class is composed of former college athletes from the past several years who argue they're owed back pay for the money they could have, all right, you following the logic? They could have earned if they had been allowed to sign NIL deals prior to 2021. It's the Reggie Bush argument to the tune of $4 billion. Well, it was illegal when I was playing, and you weren't supposed to do it. But now that you can, I need to get paid for what you should have paid me before, even though it wasn't above board. Yeah, it was against the rules, but now it's not. So pay me for what you should have paid me back when it was against the rules. That's one argument. That's messed up. Wait a minute. That'd be me. Hey, yeah. The injunctive class, okay, so there's part number 1 is years, mostly football players probably, arguing, well, I should have been paid back then because the guys get paid now, so I'm going to sue you so you can pay me for those times that it was against the rules, okay? The injunctive class includes current college athletes who argue that any of the existing restrictions of deals athletes can sign are also illegal. In court testimony, economic experts hired by the plaintiffs argued that the damage class missed out. These are former athletes, right? Former players, when this was not within the rules, okay? They missed out on more than $1 billion because they missed out on what guys are getting now. In antitrust cases, the court makes the defendant pay triple the amount of actual damages as punishment if it has violated the law, hence the estimated $4 billion price tag of illegal loss. Another impending antitrust lawsuit is Carter versus the NCAA, which also filed by an attorney, argues the NCAA should not be able to keep schools from paying players directly for their performance. Okay, so in court, what they want is they want them to be employees. That's the end of the game, by the way. It's over. Just so you know, they won't. This is like USFL stuff. They want to get paid. Former athletes want to get paid in class action status for money they think they could have made had rules like today, no rules, been legal, and they could have been paid cash by anybody and everybody. So they want to get that money. Okay? And then the damages current athletes are looking for anybody trying to have any rules whatsoever and what they can and can't make. Okay? So, number one, what was, when this plays itself out, and they're going to end up settling, which I think is going to bankrupt most of your college programs. But so what was against the rules previously, an athlete will get paid back because it's not against the rules now. Number one. Number two, making them employees, just so you know how this is going to end. Making them employees is the end of most college programs. That's workman's comp. What's the salary? What's the salary? What's the salary of a Rice football player? Is it going to be the same salary as a Texas football player? I thought you couldn't have rules stipulating on what someone can make. What do you do about the concussion cases? What do you do about workman's comp? Got it? Good luck to you. Good luck. Goodbye. They can't afford it. Most are losing money now. Number three, most programs can't afford the $20 million settlement the athletic director at A&M is talking about. They couldn't afford $1 million settlement. Number four, notice how the Big Two, this is precisely what they would like to have happen, I think. And that is the SEC and the Big Ten, they're silent. Now, some of their own are going to get killed in this. Okay, they're not. Every one of them is not a Texas. Every one of them is not is flush with cash. So some of them are going to die off too. But they're going to end up with what they've wanted all along, and that is 50 programs, blue bloods with a bunch of money who can just say goodbye to the Kansas States of the world, the Baylors of the world, and you're finished. So notice how they're silent because they want this to kill everyone else off. They won't say it, but they're fine with that because that's their end game anyway. And I guess the upside to this, possibly, is that it forces what I've been saying from the very beginning, and that is you better create a revenue share model. The problem then, all along with creating a revenue share model in this industry, is that the greedy few don't want it. They don't want to share. They want no part of that. The greedy one, the most powerful that exists, is going to say no. No, you're on your own, man. We're on our own. You're on your own. This is a really bizarre argument that what was against the rules before that's no longer against the rules, so you should get paid for stuff that you didn't do while it was against the rules is mind-numbing. It really is. But you know what drives me crazy about this whole discussion from the very beginning? And it's exactly what I had said the first time I heard this term, name, image, and likeness. These are not, for the most part, these are not athletes. I know people want to say, well, there's money generated about these athletes. First of all, you're assuming they don't go to college. They have nothing to do with the college. They're just nothing. That's it. They have no rules at all. Very few of these athletes are making money on endorsement deals. These are not name, image, and likeness. They're not fighting over an advertising deal. They're not fighting over a copyright. You do know how they're getting money. Rich people who want to suck up to them, give them cash and cars. It's not Patrick Mahomes doing a Head and Shoulders commercial. There are some, but they're getting paid by slush funds set up by jock sniffers who want them to win in football and basketball. That's what it is. This is not... These are not transactions. There are some, okay? There are some. But by and large, these are not transactions. These are gather up a bunch of cash and go and give it to them. there's no rules now. So they're football mercenaries who are living with few rules. And now they're suing to have no rules and suing to get paid for the time when there were rules. I've never seen a pendulum swing so far. And before you give me the lecture about, well, they're out there earning money. They're supposed to be students at a university. So here's what I would tell you. You go make all you can with no rules if you get into college like everyone else. See how that flies. You have nothing to do with the school. You really are a mercenary, and now you're complaining about it. And you're going to win. They're going to end up settling this case. From what I can tell, from what I've read. And when they settle, you're talking about hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, in an industry which maybe 50 of them make money in football, and only one of them makes a lot. A lot. So tell me I'm wrong about this. I'm waiting to hear. That is the most ridiculous argument. You knew you weren't supposed to get paid. Some got paid, broke the rules. Some didn't get paid, and now they're suing because today you can get money from anybody and everybody, and so you deserve that money because you should have been able to break the rules. So tell me I'm wrong. Go ahead. I mean, tell me what I'm missing here. And I think they're gonna prevail. These schools are scared. The conferences are scared, except for two. They're just going to let everyone die. You watch. They want. I know that sounds dramatic, but they would prefer the Vanderbilts of the world, the Mississippi States of the world, the Texas Techs of the world, although they may not be on the fringe, to just go away so they can cut their own TV deal and it could be bigger and better. The fewer rules and restrictions that are in place is better for whom? Who do you think benefits from that? I don't know. I don't know why you can't have any rules. As I've said from the beginning, as Nick Saban has said from the beginning, the NFL shares the revenue. They say, let's have a percentage of X and X and X. But you know what's happening here? A few greedy ones. I mean, one really greedy one doesn't want to do that. I'm not blaming this all on the giant monster down the street, but if you were them, you'd say, no, we don't want those rules. No. The fewer the rules and restrictions that are in place is better for whom? In a spending free-for-all, guess who wins? Guess who is outspending everyone? Guess who wants no rules? And they're not the only one. There's probably a few. It's the money machine down the road that has no limits, that has no barriers, that has no restrictions. It's Texas Football, Inc. All this stuff happens. Sounds like it will in some form. There's a few giant players. The biggest, of course, is Texas. They just have more money, more power, more access, everything. But this is every time I say it, I think people think I'm making this up, but this is a legal case that should kill off, will effectively kill off and make it impossible for a lot of programs to sustain themselves. Now, they're going to turn around and say, we only have one chance to survive. We only have one chance to survive. First of all, I can't even believe the legal logic behind paying people from decades ago, or maybe even me, I don't know, for money we should have earned at a time period which it was against the rules because it's legal now is just, that's amazing. But they're going to argue to try to save themselves. One, if they become employees, college athletes become employees. I'm sorry, what's the pay scale for a volleyball player? Is it the same as a football player? Huh? How do you do that? What about workman's comp for a football player? How's that going to play out? Who's in charge of the payroll, by the way?